Even synthetic forms of marijuana and cocaine can have deadly consequences. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me this hour is Pennsylvania State Representative Jen Mann. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Many people talk to their children and their teenagers about the dangers of drugs, but you say there are many types of dangers out there that aren't necessarily considered illegal drugs, but they can have just as dangerous of consequences.
Well, the sad thing is that young people think they're invincible and they think nothing bad can ever happen to them. And they're in pursuit of getting high. We deal with underage drinking, that's a separate issue. But in the pursuit of establishing some type of euphoria, they're looking for a way to do it legally, not get in trouble. And there are people smart enough to, and conniving enough to come up with ways to do that. Synthetic marijuana hit the streets in this country really in a large number last summer. We've seen its use increase significantly. Most recent and sort of latest epidemic is what is referred to as bath salts, which is essentially a synthetic cocaine used the same way, snorted, injected, can be smoked. All of these substances are very dangerous. They're very accessible. They're still legal. The biggest problem is because they are legal, young people are lured into thinking they're safe, that they're okay to use. And they're not. They're very dangerous.
And they can actually be purchased at places like smoke shops or even convenience stores?
They're very, very accessible. I mean, if a young person went in and tried to buy beer, they're going to be carded. If they went in to try to buy smokeless tobacco or cigarettes, they've got to be 18. This is something where a 15-year-old or 14-year-old could walk into a smoke shop, a convenience store, and buy the synthetic marijuana, which is often labeled as K2 and spice. They'll refer to it as herbal incense, but it certainly isn't. And bath salts are just as easily as accessible.
How dangerous are these products?
Well, you know, it almost seems every day you turn on the TV and there's a news story of somebody dying, coming close to death, or causing serious harm to themselves or other people under the influence, particularly of bath salts. I saw a news story just the other night of a young man who actually slit his own throat in front of his parents because he thought somebody was coming after him and thought something was trying to get outside of his body. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to you and me, but these drugs have very, very intense reactions, very dangerous reactions. We had a young man in the Lehigh Valley, his mother very courageously has been telling her story. He was in ICU for weeks because he shot the bath salts in his arm, was in a coma, and is really struggling to get his health back and to recover. I guess we could say he's lucky because a lot of people are not. They are dying from using this stuff. We really don't have an understanding of what it is. We don't understand the long-term effects. It's very, very addicting. And even those who try to help those who become addicted to come off this stuff aren't quite sure how to go about it from a treatment standpoint, because there's so much unknown.
Now, I want to quickly get to where we stand legislatively. There's federal legislation pending, but at this point, it's a state-by-state effort. Where do we stand in Pennsylvania?
There are nearly 20 states across the country that have banned synthetic marijuana, bath salts, or both. And that's the challenge, of course, is to try to keep up with these synthetic drugs as they enter the market. But in the meantime, while the federal government is working on that, and we'll have more comprehensive legislation once they accomplish it, until then, our only option is to do this state by state. There is legislation right now. There's a bill that came from the Senate that is in House Judiciary, and there's a bill that we passed in the House that is sitting in Senate Judiciary that would ban synthetic marijuana, bath salts, and a natural occurring substance called Salvia, which is equally as dangerous.
All right, come back, give us an update. Let us know how they progress.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've been talking with Pennsylvania State Representative Jen Mann. I'm Jill Horner for Comcast Newsmakers.